Welcome to Gemara Academy. In this class, we will learn Tosfos Dibra Maskul. Amar Abaya Hocha Be'ilano Emet. Let's begin. Amar Abaya Hocha Be'ilano Emet. In the Gemara, we presented the opinion of Abaya, and that is that we don't have to say that when Rav Chisda said that in Rosh Hashanah we don't need a hanocha in an area that's 4x4, it fits with Rebbe and not the Rabbanon. Rather, we can explain that the machlekes between Rebbe and the Rabbanon has nothing to do with the teaching of Rav Chisda, and the benefit is that now we could explain that Rav Chisda could fit both with Rebbe and the Rabbanon. So Tosfos is going to have one question and answer it. So let's see Tosfos inside. Teimel it's a wonder to the Ri. For it's better to say that they are arguing regarding Rav Chisda, for Rav Chisda ki Rebbe, and Rav Chisda is like Rebbe. Generally speaking, what the Abaya said is true, that it's preferable to say that two Tanoim are not arguing about the teaching of an Amira, because in that case the Amira is limited to only fitting with one Tana. Therefore, it's better to say that the machlekes between the Tanoim is about a different matter altogether, and this way the Amira could fit with both Tanoim. However, in our situation, in our Gemara, it's actually better to say that they are arguing about the teaching of Rav Chisda, and Rav Chisda fits with Rebbe. And the reason is because according to the answer of Abaya, that their argument isn't related to Rav Chisda, it's certainly difficult for Rav Chisda. There is a certain level of difficulty to say that Rav Chisda only fits with Rebbe, not the Rabbanan, because we prefer to say he fits with both. But it's something which we could go with, because he has support from a Tana. However, in our case, there's a much greater difficulty than that. If we say that Rebbe and the Rabbanan are discussing a different matter altogether, there's going to be a much greater difficulty than to say that Rav Chisda only fits with Rebbe. And that is the Ha'ika Brisa L'Kaman Ba'azerik, the like Rav Chisda, because there's a Brisa later in Perek Azerik that's not like Rav Chisda. So if we say that the machlekes between Rebbe and the Rabbanan is about the teaching of Rav Chisda, so Rav Chisda could fit with Rebbe. So although it's only one opinion, at least there's an opinion that he can be supported by, a Tana that he can rely on. However, if we explain that the machlekes of Rebbe and the Rabbanan has nothing to do with the teaching of Rav Chisda, what we're left with is that Rav Chisda is arguing with two Tanaim, because we're going to present in a moment a machlekes between two Tanaim that both of them hold that in Rosh Hashanah the hanacha does need to be in an area that's 4x4. So by removing Rebbe and the Rabbanan from the teaching of Rav Chisda, in our case, what we're leaving Rav Chisda is alone arguing with two Tanaim, and Rav Chisda is an Amira, he can't argue with two Tanaim. So it would be better to say that although he's not fitting with those two Tanaim, it's okay because he's supported by the opinion of Rebbe. And in order to say that, we need to explain that the machlekes between Rebbe and the Rabbanon is connected to the teaching of Rav Chisda. So why does Abaya say it's not connected? Now, where is this machlekes between two Tanaim that argue with Rav Chisda? So Tosfos brings it down. So it just completes the question. The question was already stated that in our case, since there are two Tanaim, there's a brisa with two Tanaim that argue with Rav Chisda, it would be better to say that Rebbe fits with Rav Chisda. Now, where are those two Tanaims? It says Tosfos. The Pligi Rabbanan for Rabbi Meir, Bezark Lamar Lamasura, for the Rabbanan or Meir argue by one who threw an item higher than 10 tfachim. The Nach Bechor Kolshu, and it landed in a very small hole, so he threw it from the Rosh Hashanah into a hole above 10 tfachim, and that hole has the status of a Rosh Hashanah. So over there's an machlekes between the Rabbanan and Rabbi Meir. The Rabbi Meir mechayev mishum da'amrinan choykikin lahashlim. Rabbi Meir says the person is chayev because we say choykikin lahashlim, and like we explained earlier, that it's referring to a hole that's small on the side of the Rosh Hashanah and it's wide on the side of Rosh Hashanah, and it's a hole of the Rosh Hashanah. Rabbi Meir says we say choykikin lahashlim, and therefore it's like it's resting on an area that's 4x4. And the Chachamim say it's pater because we don't say chaykikin lahashlim, and therefore it's not resting on an area that's 4x4. Almost, so we see that kul hu maidu the beinan makim dal Rosh Hashanah. Everybody agrees that we do need an area of 4x4 in the Rosh Hashanah. They both agree it needs to land and rest on an area that's 4x4. The machlekes is: do we say chaykikin lahashlim and we have that area of 4x4, or do we not say chaykikin lahashlim and we do not have the area? So it comes out that Rav Chisda is not fitting with Rabbi Meir and the Rabbanan, who are Tanaim. So how could Rav Chisda argue with them? So we should seek support for Rav Chisda and say that he understands the machlekes between Rebbe and the Rabbanan, that they're arguing about his teaching, and he fits with Rebbe. And Tosfos answers with Shema Yesh Leimer, and maybe we can say that time of the Rav Chisda delay ba'inon makim dalad b'Rosh Hashanah, that the reason Rav Chisda doesn't require an area that's 4x4 in Rosh Hashanah, mishum da'amrinon basic command dami, because we say basic command dami v'choshev kamunach al gabi makam marba, and it's considered like it is resting on an area that's 4x4. We could explain that when Reb Chisda says we don't need a hanacha in Rosh Hashanah on an area that's 4x4, it's because we always have a hanacha in Rosh Hashanah in an area that's 4x4, because we say basic command the Maya Damya. So therefore, in the case of Reb Chisda, we're rested and landed on a post. that wasn't 4x4, the person is chayiv because there is an area that's 4x4. Because since we say basic command demalya, when it's resting on the post, it's resting on the items that we say it's as if the Rosh Hashanah is full of that are attached to it, and there it is 4x4 in total. So therefore, we could explain that Rabbi Chisda is not arguing with Rabbi Meir and the Rabbanan. They hold that we need a hanach on an area that's 4x4, and he holds we need a hanach on an area that's 4x4. And all Rabbi Chisda is saying is that we always have it in the Rosh Hashanah. And therefore it comes out that he doesn't have any problem from Rabbi Meir and the Rabbanan. They hold we need 4x4, and he holds we need 4x4. And as a result, now the question is, do we connect the opinion of Rabbi Chisda to Rebbe and not the Rabbanan, or do we say it's unrelated and it can fit with both? We prefer to say it's unrelated and it can fit with both. And Tosfos concludes, he addresses a question, so he completes the answer. He concludes by saying the question that he's addressing is that if Rabbi Meir and the Rabbanan hold we need an area that's 4x4, and Rav Chisda says we need 4x4, we still have a question, we still have a problem, and that is Rav Chisda says we say basic command Demalya Damya, and Rabbi Meir and the Rabbanan don't, because if they said that we do say basic command Demalya Dami, then whether we say Chaykik and Lahashlam or not, he'll still be chayiv because of basic command Demalya Damya. It's as if the whole house is full of items, so it's always resting on something that's 4x4. And Tosfos explains, but by a wall we require that the whole have 4x4. When it comes to a wall, we don't say basic command Demalya Damya will help us that the hanacha should be an area that's 4x4, since the hole in the wall is removed and separate from the rest of the house. And therefore, by the hole in the wall, if there is an area of 4x4 through Chaykik and Lahashlam, then it'll have the hanacha an area that's 4x4 and you'll be chayiv. And if we don't have 4x4 and we don't say Chaykik and Lahashlam, it won't have an area that it's resting on that's 4x4, and basic command Demalya Damya, which is removed from the hole, will not help, and therefore the person will be putter. So to summarize, Tosfos asked that by removing Rebbe and the Rabbanan from Rav Chisda, we actually create a problem because Rav Chisda won't fit with Rabbi Meir and the Rabbanan. So by removing Rebbe and the Rabbanan, we create a problem that he's left arguing with Rabbi Meir and the Rabbanan. Tosfos explains that we don't have to say that he's arguing with Rabbi Meir and the Rabbanan. We could fit him with Rabbi Meir and the Rabbanan, and therefore it's better to remove Rebbe and the Rabbanan from him and say he can fit with both than to connect it and say he only fits with Rebbe.